interrupt buffer is a way of setting aside time for unexpected work that comes up during an agile sprint. It can be calculated by looking at the team's past performance and estimating how much time they typically spend on unexpected work. For example, if a team has a 1-hour interrupt buffer, they may use this time to address unexpected emails, calls, or meetings that require their immediate attention. Thus, if a team typically spends 10% of their time on unexpected work, they could set aside 10% of their sprint capacity for their interrupt buffer. How does it work? Let's say an agile team has a sprint duration of 2 weeks, that is 10 work days, and they allocate the 10% interrupt buffer for handling unexpected interruptions that may arise during the work days. This means that they set aside 1 day or 8 work hours to handle any urgent or unforeseen tasks that come up during the sprint. During the sprint planning meeting, the team reviews their backlog and estimates the amount of work they can complete in 9 working days, which is 90% of the sprint duration. This is because they have reserved 1 day for handling interruptions, and they cannot count on completing any work during that day. Let's take this illustration to look closer at how the interrupt buffer is calculated. Where the sprint duration is 2 weeks, which in practice is 10 work days, the interrupt buffer at 10% would then be 1 work day or 8 hours. When we subtract the 1 day for interrupt buffer from the total 2-week sprint, we would be left with 9 actual days for the user stories. This would then be 90% of the sprint duration. Suppose the team estimates that they can complete 90 story points during the sprint. They can then use the available 9 work days to calculate their team's capacity. Team capacity per day would then be the total story points divided by the total work days. Team capacity per day equals 90 story points divided by 9 working days. Team capacity per day equals 10 story points per day. With this team capacity of 10 story points per day, the team can plan their work for each day during the sprint. They can also ensure that they have enough capacity to handle unexpected interruptions that may arise during the sprint. Here are some tips for using interrupt buffers effectively. 1. Make sure the buffer is large enough. The size of the buffer will depend on the team's size and the amount of unexpected work they typically encounter. 2. Use the buffer wisely. Only use the buffer for unexpected work that is truly urgent. If you can, try to defer non-urgent work to a later sprint. 3. Communicate with the team. Make sure the team knows about the interrupt buffer and how it can be used. Overall, the interrupt buffer helps agile teams to manage their workload effectively, minimizes stress and distractions, and ensures that they can handle urgent issues while staying on track to achieve their sprint goals. Questions. 1. How can you describe the interrupt buffer and how it is used? 2. Could you make an illustration on how to effectively use the interrupt buffer?